Get ready. It's time. Christina, Catherine, Lisa, Amy, Lauren, and Danny. Welcome to the Cimorelli Podcast.
Hey, I'm Christina.
I'm Catherine.
I'm Lisa.
I'm Amy.
I'm Lauren.
I'm Danny.
And we're Cimorelli.
Welcome back to
The Cimorelli Podcast.
Thanks, guys. Sorry I said my name so creepily. I just wanted to switch
Yeah,
it
that
up.
was so low.
Did,
You're like,
did anyone hear me?
Danny.
I was like, and we're Cimorelli.
No,
I
thank
did not
goodness.
hear
Go
that.
back and listen for it.
All right, welcome to the Cimorelli
Hey.
Podcast. This one's on YouTube, and if you're on Patreon, you're seeing this a week before YouTube.
Yeah.
Hey. We post one every week, but only 2 of them are on YouTube, and the other 2 are on Patreon. Every other episode is Patreon only. So if you want those other episodes, which are really, really good, gotta join our Patreon. It's an amazing place. There's so much other stuff besides the podcast on there, but this is one of the best things, okay? So welcome to the Cimorelli Podcast.
Hey.
We share juicy stories, discuss personal topics, and get vulnerable and real with you guys and let you know some of the advice that has changed our lives. So let's jump in to this very entertaining podcast.
Wait, you
It
didn't
is going to be
say-
very entertaining.
You didn't say, and we always keep it entertaining. I wanted
I
you to
said
say
let's
that.
jump into this entertaining
But
podcast.
I love how you say that.
and we always keep
it entertaining.
and we always keep it real entertaining.
Entertaining.
Alrighty. So the first thing we start with is a spicy advice
Question.
Q&A.
Q&A, ladies.
So this spicy advice
One question.
Q&A.
It's not a Q&A. Stop.
So this spicy advice question comes from our patrons. So if you'd like to be a spicy advice Q&A,
Ask
then
her.
join Patreon
Stop.
and become a patron today.
If you'd like
Love
to be
it.
one.
All
I
right,
would like
so
to be a Q&A.
this question is from our patron, Becca. And she
Hey.
says,
Hey, Becca.
how do I manage my time?
Wait, I would like to say one other thing really quick. Becca, hey, no me no.
Please
Are you
don't do
okay?
that.
What
It's
is-
from Star by
I remember that.
Thank you.
Oh,
It's from a
yeah.
musical,
Weird.
guys.
So back
Musical
to the
theater.
question. She said, how do I manage my time?
Wait, is this just in general?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
how do you get better
Uh,
at it? Here's a good foundation. 1, plan your whole week the weekend before,
Like Sunday. or
Amen.
and plan each day in a way that you can actually get everything done in that day.
whatever. Mhm.
Write how much time everything is going to take, and make sure it mathematically adds up to how much time you actually
Mm.
have in each day.
What if you
Oh,
don't
you
know how
can't-
much
I have
time?
another
No,
one.
you can't
Guess.
write down 12 hours of work if you don't want to work for 12 hours and you don't have time to work for 12 hours. So then you need to split them up over a few days.
What if
and
you
it's like,
guess-
oh, I can do that.
Okay, I have a great answer
What if
to
you
that
guess
question.
and it's wrong?
So I was going to piggyback off of Lauren and say, before you plan your week, you should spend at least a week observing your time. So keep a note in your phone, go through your days, and see how long things
Mhm.
actually take. Then you'll have a good thing to
People
start
not
with.
know?
No,
Also,
people don't know.
If
Lauren,
you guess
seriously.
wrong,
I know.
if you guess wrong, just adjust as you go.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it
Always
takes too
give
long,
yourself
just
more
shift
time.
tomorrow.
Most people are pretty distracted most
Mhm.
days. They're just kind of on their phones, like, and I do this all the time, la-di-da. So it's good to observe
La-di-da.
yourself first.
I have a general tip, which is if you feel there's not enough hours in the day, maybe wake up earlier.
Mm.
Like if you're going
Oh.
to bed at freaking 11 and waking up at 11, and then you're like, oh, the day just got away from me.
Who's
It's
doing
like,
that?
12
I
hours
know.
of sleep.
some people do
Lucky.
that. Or
Love
like
it.
if you're going to bed 3 in the morning, wake up at 11. It's just like different people have different sleeping schedules. Some people are more comfortable and work better waking up at 5 in the morning. Some people are better waking up at 7 in the morning. But honestly, you shouldn't be getting out of bed later than 8 a.m. because that's when the world starts. So like
Oh.
you need to like figure out what your sleeping schedule is, what works for your body, and what is going to give you the most time in the day. Because if you're sleeping the whole day, obviously you're not going to have enough time for a full day.
Yeah, another foundational thing is okay, like you're planning your week, yeah, but what are you planning for? Why are you planning?
Mm.
You need to know what you're prioritizing
your
in
goal?
your life.
Yep.
Like, write a list. Okay, I'm prioritizing hanging out with my family or doing this
Mhm.
thing or this goal or this
And that
blah,
could change
blah,
every
blah.
week.
Yeah.
I would like to say that I have a list of things on my phone that I want to do that I don't necessarily have a timeline for of like when it needs to be done. So whenever I find a day with extra time, I go back to that list. Usually it's on the top, it's at the bottom of my to-do
cool.
list, so it's in the same document. So I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, let me add to those things. And then
Yeah.
I check things off that I've been meaning to do for a while, and I'm like,
That's
yes,
cool.
I just did that the other day.
You can go. Okay. I was gonna say, it's good to think in categories. So I think about my week when I'm planning it, as Lauren says. I try to plan my week on Saturday or Sunday, and I think of different categories such as exercise, spirituality, like prayer time, time with family, time with friends, work, sleep, self-care, having fun, cleaning my house. And then I try to like write down how long each activity would take and then try to figure out which day to do it. It's not always easy, but it does help to kind of have categories of like what kind of life you want to live.
Love it.
Also, if you're like me and you don't really know where to start, or you can't just make a list on your phone and then have it work, I would suggest trying out some various applications, aka apps. Fun fact, app means application.
Means appetizer.
Yes.
Try appetizer.
No,
I
but
really don't like
like-
what Lisa's doing right now.
Lisa,
I'm kind of
It's really
scared.
freaking me out.
Lisa
All
has
I
this
hear is
slime stuff and she's ripping it up. I don't know.
I can't
But listen,
handle that.
I can't look away from it.
There is a Macintosh Apple program on your computer that's called Todoist, which I love.
What?
There's
Todoist?
some, but that's like a yeah.
Cool.
But there's that's a computer one. If you want one on your phone, there's a lot of other ones. Try out an app. I would
I
suggest.
want to do
a
that.
planning app. It has
All
like
right.
a checklist.
That was a lot of good
everything.
tips.
Oh, a good one that I do is I set this is such a good one. You set your timer, like, oh, I'm going to do this for 20 minutes, and then you just set it. It makes you go, oh, crap, I have 10 minutes left, and it makes you
Yes.
actually do stuff.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like, oh, I'm going to study my math, whatever. 20 minutes,
Oh.
and then 30 minutes. That's such a big one. A lot of successful people use that one. Time blocking
that's
and
smart.
using a timer.
Last tip, which I don't do because guys, I really don't plan my weeks. But if I did, I would do this.
Oh my
Lauren
gosh.
has
Just
Lauren.
wakes up
Lauren
so
told me this tip.
Advice.
Lauren's tip, what she does, is planning free time and like planning time to do nothing or planning time to take a
That's
break.
where I done goof.
You can't just say, "Oh, I'm gonna do this and then I'm gonna do this and this." That's when you get tired and then you throw your whole list out the window because you're too overwhelmed to do anything. You know, you gotta plan to take a break, take a shower, take a nap,
Because you are going to take a break,
Take
whatever
a
that
meal.
means,
Why are
because
you
you just
speaking
crashed.
take a
Gee.
break, take a shower, take a meal.
Oh.
I needed
Take
that.
a nap.
I was
All right,
gonna
guys,
say
that's
that.
what we got for you on
You're
time
welcome.
management.
Love it.
So we're going to go to today's topic of conversation. It's real juicy, okay?
Ooh, spicy.
It is breakups.
Shocking.
Rip.
Love that.
Okay, we're going to tell you
Snap.
our worst breakups. I mean, obviously, we could each talk for an hour about our worst breakups. So
Yeah.
it's
I could
many
talk for a
hours.
lot of hours.
It's going to be condensed, but
We each do a whole episode and tell the story of our worst
oh
breakups.
gosh, I
could.
could forever. We're going to talk about
Ooh.
how long it took each of us to move on and then
Mm,
how we moved on, assuming everyone did.
Let's hope
Not
everyone
me.
did.
Whoa, she's
Lisa.
threatening.
And your breakup survival tips.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I'm going to jump into this one because I'm concise and everyone just follow my lead. Maybe let's
Yes,
do age
ma'am.
order.
Follow
Yeah.
my
Okay.
lead.
Follow her
Okay,
timing.
Follow my lead. Here is the first question. I'll do it. Then, Kath, you guys know the age order.
Whatever.
I know you do. So,
Greediest to neediest.
what? If you watch season 1 of Cimorelli Podcast, you know what she's talking about.
She roasted again.
What was your worst breakup? Okay, so I was 18 and it was my first boyfriend and it was so bad when we broke up that I'd never felt pain like that before. I couldn't eat. I literally could not eat and I didn't know I couldn't do anything during the day except for like go and walk. So I'd walk 10 miles a day and I lost 10 pounds really quickly, which was really bad for me. Like really quickly. It was
She was
Very
already a
scary.
string bean.
I couldn't fit in my pants anymore. It was so scary because I was like, what do you do with emotions? Like I had no idea what to do. And I was like bawling in my car every night. I was like, what is this
hearing you in
pain?
the bathroom, and I was like, "Oh gosh,
It
she's
was-
crying again." And I would run away.
It was the most like intense
I remember
pain.
that too.
It wasn't
Oh my
just like,
gosh.
oh, I'm sad. It was like,
Scary.
this is the most intense pain I've ever felt. That was my worst breakup. It was so freaking intense.
Wow.
Thought I was dying. And when I did experience a death in the family, it was the same feeling. So that's what it felt like to
Wow.
me.
A death.
Wow. Okay, my worst breakup, I've talked about it before, but it was the breakup that I wrote my song Where It All Ended on the Sad Girls Club album about. It's weird because I dated a lot of different boys over my years, and some of them for longer than this boy. I only dated him for 3 months.
Oh.
But it was a horrible, horrible pain. Like something about the exact way that it happened. I don't know what it is to this day, but it took me double the amount of the relationship, 6 months, to even want to look at another boy. Like I couldn't go on any dates or talk to anyone. And I pretty much cried almost every day for several months. And then the next few months after that, I cried like several times a week. And it was like, not the crying where you're just like, oh, a tear. It's like where you're laying on the floor in the fetal position and you're like, ah. That's the last thing I'll say. That's what I wrote that line in my song. Some nights
I'll
I cry so hard and wonder if you
can
can feel it all the way across town.
Because it's like your soul.
You're just
is
like,
crying.
can you feel this pain that I'm
Yeah.
in?
All right, Danny wants to
Probably
go
No,
next.
I'm not gonna go next. I'm just gonna put
Even
in
though
a
I
quick
said it was
sidebar.
age order.
Quick sidebar is that Kath and I had
Yes.
the same thing happen to us at the same time.
Oh my gosh, that was crazy.
So like we both had boys like stop talking to us over at the same time, And so I wrote a song about my boy, and then she came in my room, and I showed it to her, and we cried to it together.
Oh my gosh.
Because we were both feeling the exact same thing.
Yeah, and I went
And-
to a wedding and I was so depressed. I
And she
drove
texted
to your
me.
house.
Oh, yeah, you drove
and
me.
we sat in your room and cried together.
Yeah. And then
I
you
was
wrote
like,
your
"Ah."
song, and then I cried to it at the same time.
Yeah, it
was
was
the whole
so
thing.
weird.
It was
It was
bonding.
so weird.
This is really pathetic because I never even dated this guy.
Oh, come
I
on.
thought, no,
It's
I
okay, it
thought it was
happens.
gonna be one, and then I realized it was a different one.
Oh,
I only talked to this guy, not even in a real way, for like
Hey, people relate to that.
a month.
Not me.
A month, I want to say, yeah, about a month. And we would go out to like karaoke and stuff. But no,
Oh.
we would not go out. I would go out and see him there and like pine over him. So we were never even truly involved with each other. And yeah, it was just really pathetic. And he never like wanted me to be his girlfriend ever. He asked me on a date twice, canceled both times. So you shouldn't be torn up over this because it was never even anything. But
Happens.
when it ended, he kind of disappeared slowly, and I was like, what the heck is going on? And then just a few weeks later, he showed up to karaoke with another girl at my brother's birthday party. I was like, what? You know I'm going to be here. So I was like really, really upset, and we left for a Europe tour right after that, and I cried like I've never cried. I just think that certain breakups trigger you. Like they trigger
Yeah.
something much
Amen.
deeper.
Even
because
if it's not even deep.
no,
It's
because
weird.
that's I think I was feeling something else through this breakup.
Mhm.
Like
Oh,
some
totally
child-
true.
I was
That's how
feeling
I
a
felt.
childhood
Same.
wound through this breakup because this breakup was not that deep. But I cried and cried and cried for literally like 3 months, and then I came home and he asked me out again and canceled again, and then I cried again.
Oh my
Like,
god.
This
That
boy ripped
little.
me
I
apart. But I don't
Okay.
even know how I moved on. I moved. That's how I moved on, and I
You
still
gotta
didn't move on. It
move
took me a
on.
long time, like
Wow.
like 9 months or something. It was
I don't know
really
why I
That's
got
bad.
really
chills when you were
hard.
talking about that.
I think because it just ripped open a general wound in me, so then I spiraled downwards after that, and I was
Yes.
like, wow.
Relatable.
Okay, technically, yeah, not, okay. So basically, the thing about, like, breakups is that it sucks when it's not even an actual breakup. Like, if you didn't actually
Yeah.
date
That's
people,
what she said.
it's a whole other layer of, like, you feel like
So
you don't
same
even
to-
deserve
you said
it.
that in your song too.
No, but we were,
in Girls Like Me, you
Yeah.
say Amy's lyric is, "I'll listen to sad songs, but I'll just feel insane because it was never that deep anyway."
yeah, but with this, okay, with my worst one, it was deep though, and we were really connected. We did hang out all the time, well, not all the time, but we did hang out and we talked a lot. And
it wasn't
it
official,
just-
but it was
yeah.
like deeper.
And it just sucked. And it was like a whole other layer of like, wow, I don't deserve to be like going through this because it wasn't even an official thing. And then B, it was just bad. And I couldn't see any of the actual facts of the situation. I remember talking to Lauren Darren after. I was like, oh, I'm totally fine. I was like, why? I thought I was. And it took me months to realize,
thought it
oh,
was, like,
Amy,
years.
you're sad. And then
Oh.
after I stopped lying to myself, being a fat liar, it just took me a lot longer to move on than I thought because I kept lying to myself for a very long time.
Denial.
Denial.
You?
I really believe the classic saying, "The first cut is the deepest."
That was mine too. My first cut.
So this was like I was 15 at this point. It wasn't actually a relationship; it was a friendship. But I got ghosted, and wow, that was like I never experienced so much emotional pain in my life.
Mm.
I hate that. It was like being stabbed by a dagger every day.
Wow.
Oh
But
my
a ghost
hard.
gosh.
That's it.
Yeah,
A
that's
ghost
Um,
dagger.
I would like to say that mine is not that because mine got progressively worse.
Oh.
I didn't date a lot of people. I just had the typical teenage things with people.
Relatable.
So I never officially dated anyone before my current BF. Sorry to everyone who thought in the last podcast that I was officially dating someone because that wasn't real. So anyway,
She
I got it an old.
She canceled that.
Oh,
Anyway-
she means season 1. If you watch season 1
Yeah,
of the Cimorelli
that's what I meant.
Podcast, you know.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway,
Canceled.
the relationship, quote unquote, that I had a long time ago was the worst one because it was the first boy to like treat me semi nice and be
Yeah.
like semi not an awful
Mhm.
human being to me because I liked really, really mean boys in the
Ugh.
past. And he was the only one to not do
that?
that. I wrote a poem, which I'll be like Catherine and read part of my poem. Just there's this one line in it where I say like everyone in the past like hurt me, but you were the only person who waited till you left to do that. So like he was the only one who didn't stab me in the heart a million times while he knew me. It was
Ah!
after. So, that's why.
Because he
Okay.
was sweet, but
Yeah.
Terrible.
Ooh. Okay, so for mine, we dated for like 7 months, and it took me like 2 or 3 months to move on.
Wow.
Not that bad.
What's wrong with you?
And I mean move on, like for real, not fake move on. I mean, and I'll tell you in the next one why. But I mean real move on, like real, not fake
good.
pretending.
What
I
you
said
saying?
we
Just say
dated
quick.
for 3 months and it took me 6 months to move on. It was
Okay.
double the amount of time.
Relatable.
Okay. We interacted for a month, and I think it took me like more than a year.
That's good.
I was ripped up.
Ooh, good way to describe it.
That's so. Oh, this is so embarrassing. Like,
I just said
it's the same exact thing. No, it's like, yeah, it was like 2 months of like actually like being like talking and stuff, and then it took me like probably a good year and a half. But we were talking throughout that time too, which extended it. So
That's
that
happened
makes
to
it
me.
worse.
But I will say my first heartbreak, we
Okay.
interacted for 6 months,
Oh
and it
my
took me
gosh.
3 years to move on.
That's happened. Okay,
There
that's
you go.
And
happened.
I was gonna say that I liked someone for 5 years that I was friends with that entire time, and it never,
I relate. That's
it
so
never
relatable.
happened. Carrie.
Good.
Never.
Alright,
So we're
that-
all pathetic. I'm glad we established
Yes.
No,
that.
it's normal.
It's normal. It's
but
not
not
pathetic.
healthy.
It's normal to be pathetic.
especially the
Just
first
kidding.
cut. Okay, that
Okay.
was
Mm.
mine was 4 months. It took me 2 years and moving out of the state to move on.
You're like, well, I guess it's not
Lauren.
gonna happen now. We moved
You know
out of
what?
the state.
Can I say I'm changing mine? Not my worst breakup, but this one that I'm talking about, just because we're talking about this. I talked to a boy on the phone for a month. I didn't even hang out with him. I just talked to him on the phone for a month.
Aw.
You all know who I'm talking about from my YouTube video, but
Before October's gone, anyone?
yeah, that song we wrote, the YouTube video I made. But I talked to a boy on the phone for 1 month, and then
But
it-
you had met him in. You saw him in
well, I
person.
met him
a
in
few
person,
times.
but I just mean that
No,
we
you
didn't.
didn't just talk.
Yeah,
He
we
wasn't a
hung out in
telemarketer.
person two times. Two
Okay.
times. And it probably took me 2 years to move on.
What about the other guy? You
Maybe
talked about?
3 years. The other guy took me like 2 months to move on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The worst breakup took me like no time. But I'm just saying there was one where it was 1 month and years to move on.
It's weird how you can
It
never
happens.
predict how long it's gonna be.
Yeah.
That's weird.
It's like trajectory.
I think if you do what I did, it actually would. I think everyone's would be pretty short, but I don't think anyone quite did what I did.
Christina, you really remind me of one of those people who sells courses.
Yeah, if you buy this course,
You're like,
I
it
should
took me
make
2 months to move on from my breakup.
I should
if
make
you
a
sign up for
course
my
on
course,
that.
it'll only take you 2 months to move on.
Guys,
but only if you do exactly
would-
what I do.
Would you
You
not?
should. I would buy
Would
it.
you not have bought that course?
I
Because
would
I
have.
would have.
Wipe your
Nah.
memory with Babe Be Gone.
Okay, let's go to the next
Boy,
one.
begone.
So, how did you move on? This is what everyone wants to know.
Ooh,
Everyone's
ooh,
like,
ooh.
how do you move on? Blah, blah, blah. And your breakup survival tips. Okay, listen to what happened to me. I was dead. I already told you that. I went to the bookstore and I
Fell on
looked
the
at
floor.
every book on breakups. They all sucked. They were horrible. They were like, eat ice cream with your friends and watch sad movies. And I was like, I'm doing this.
I mean, that
I'm
can help.
sad.
Honestly.
I'll explain. It was not good. I did that. It did literally nothing for me except make me more sad. Whatever. Think about how bad he is. Think about all the negatives. Blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Mm.
Blah, 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 blah. Then I found this book.
My book.
I found this book. No, it's not my
I
book.
found this
I'm
book
not
that I
selling a book.
wrote.
I found this book called Mars and Venus Starting Over. It's for the Men Are from Mars, Women Are from Venus thing, whatever. If you know what that is. You probably don't. And it like rocked my world. It was so crazy. He was talking about like how to move on from things. It was even like grief and like losing a loved one.
Mm.
And it was so insane. And what it was saying was like dive into your feelings, like figure out think of like all the sad things and the happy things, which I didn't think to do that. I was like, I don't want to think about those because either you're thinking about the happy things and longing all the time, or you're thinking about the sad things and crying all the time, right? Or the bad things and being like,
Smashing
I'm
his car.
angry. Yeah, you're angry and bitter, or you're longing the whole time. So I went into all of it, and I was like, you know what? Oh, you go through all of your emotions. I've said this before. You go through anger, sadness, fear, regret, guilt, love, and forgiveness. Forgiveness is the key to everything in life. Oh my gosh. So I went through all of it. I remember literally I would listen to the songs that remind me of him and I would make new memories of them. First I'd listen to them and I would cry. And I'd be like,
oh, I hate
these
that.
are sad.
Ugh.
These make me so sad. I would think about the good things he did and then I would be grateful for the good things he did. Then I would think about the bad things he did and I'd be like, you know what? I deserved better. And then I would think about like why he was this way and everything I knew about his family and I would forgive him. It took a long time, but I didn't take that long, but I was like, I got to forgive him for this. I got to forgive him. And I went through all of it. Why I was mad, why I was sad, why I was scared. I felt alone, what I regretted, what I was mad about, like everything. And I remember going up, we lived on a hill, up to the top of the front yard, okay, and laying down in a sleeping bag at like 8 p.m. or something in the dark, obviously, and listening to all the songs that reminded me of him in a good way and being like grateful that I had the memories.
Ooh,
Oh,
that's
that was
hard.
really nice. That was really
Thanks
nice.
for the memories.
Yes,
Give me the
I did that.
heebie-jeebies.
I was like, this is really nice. That was great. That was great.
Oh,
Then
that's
I went
hard.
through all the things that were dumb that I didn't deserve, and I wrote them all out. I wrote all the freaking
Did
things
you do this
out.
because of the book?
Yes, the book told me all
Wow.
this stuff to do.
Wow.
And
Step by step.
yeah, it was so different, and I just went complete through my emotions. And then before I knew it, I was 100% moved on. I had no bitterness, no anger, no resentment towards him. I had forgiven him, and I was like, it's okay that he completely crushed my heart. It's okay, because this is what happens. We're just young. We don't know what we're doing. And I forgave him, and I moved on.
Wow.
So what do you want to add? That
What
was your
can you
survival
add to
tip.
that?
Okay,
Yeah.
I have
No,
one
you
thing.
probably have different
I can.
things.
I have one thing.
Wait,
So,
did your things not work?
no, my things worked.
Keep going.
My things worked. I've moved on from many people. Many people in my life, okay? Just
For
because
real?
I've had crushes on people since I could see.
For real, move on?
So I had to move on from a lot of
Since you
people
could
because I didn't date any
As
of
a
them.
newborn baby, you had the gift of sight. Danny's like, oh, that doctor's cute.
Oh my
You
god.
are a
Honestly,
newborn.
I
Whoa.
probably did think that.
Wait,
So,
accurate.
My
so
mind goes to the extreme.
I think I have some good things. Here's the thing. You can't just like put some potion together and then stir it in a pot
You're
and
like,
then
bam,
drink it
done.
and then you're good.
Yeah,
It-
even though we wish we
sometimes,
could.
Sometimes after a few months or after a certain amount of time, it does happen instantaneously. And that's happened to me multiple times. So that is
Really?
all I will say. All I will say is that everything takes time. It literally has to take time. It's not physically possible for you to just, go through, let me read the whole book in one day and do
Bam,
this whole
done.
thing and I'm good. I'm all fine. No, it takes
No.
time. It's a healing process. So just let yourself take as much time as you need and do what Christina says and what the book says or whatever you want to do. Dive into every single aspect you could possibly, every crevice you could think of.
I was writing like
And-
crazy.
Like for me, when I dated that boy for 2 weeks and then I had to get over him over a few months, like I was really, really sad and I had to get over it. So I was just really dramatic. Like I didn't judge myself. I didn't tell myself, we only dated for
good
2
one.
weeks. You can't think this. Or I didn't like talk to people who would tell me that. Like I just let myself cry all the time, listen to these music, write this song, this, that, and the other thing, write letters to him that I did not give to him. And like look at
that's a big
pictures,
one.
blah, 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 blah.
Never give.
I did that. And then at some point, it just kind of clarity smacks you in the face and you're like, okay, this ended for a reason. And then
Ooh.
you get over it. It just happens with time. That's what I would say.
I'm gonna go quick with my segment of perspective of I was thinking about my experiences, and what helped me a lot is first there's the initial shock where you literally, for me, I just need to cry. I can't like live it up or whatever, prove him wrong.
Some people do that.
I
Some people
have
do that.
to cry for the first few days at least, and just cry all the time.
few days.
Stay home. No. I mean where it's like I can't really go anywhere. I'm so sad. Then when I feel like the crying has breaks in between the crying, then I need to fill the holes that this person has left with real fun and not like I'm gonna show me wrong,
Yes.
put on a hot dress.
Yes, I
Like,
did that.
there was a carnival
Yes.
going on, I remember. So I went with my friends to the carnival and tried to genuinely have fun. To be like, look,
Oh,
my life is not terrible without him. Like I have to immediately start proving that to
Yes.
myself.
and
so I'm
public
not,
places
like-
are the worst.
So I'm not like super
for
down to
that.
myself. And then I would just figure things out that I can do. Or like, I'm gonna like color in a coloring book and like do things that are like hobbies and interests that make me feel like I have something to do with my time. So I'm not like, without him, I just lay here and cry. But then when you need to lay here and cry, you do. But just proving to myself that my life still had meaning and fun and opportunities to be happy, that really did help me a lot just in the initial first process.
That's
Alright.
good.
I got 2 practical tips for you.
Ooh.
So along with the expression part, like that's a given. Christina's thing, perfect. Good.
Thank
do
you.
that. But for me, the 2 practical things you do along with that are mute.
I was gonna say
mute.
this too.
Oh!
Cut ties.
Absolutely must mute them on every social media.
Ooh.
You probably don't want to unfollow them if you don't want to cause waves, but there's this handy feature called muting where you won't see their story, you won't see their post. you won't
Probably
see
why
anything.
they invented it.
Because you cannot
Mhm.
move on from someone if you are continually talking to them, seeing your posts. At least I can't. So
Mm.
mute,
No, I don't think
delete,
anyone can.
goodbye.
No,
The
but you
second thing is be real with yourself about who they actually are and how they make you feel. Do not think of them as an
The best
isolated
light.
individual. You can't think of like, well, he is great, blah, blah, blah. You have to think like, okay, but how is he in relation to me?
How did he
Like,
make me
how
feel?
did he treat me? How do you make me feel? If he's the one that broke up with you, you don't want to be with someone who doesn't want to be with you
Mm.
because that would make you feel really bad. So you have to think like, how is he really? How did he actually make me feel? And don't lie to yourself and tell yourself that he's better or that the relationship was better than it was. Because once you genuinely realize that that's not what you want, for me, there's always like a aha moment where that's when it clicks and I finally move on. When I'm like, oh, I don't even want that actually.
I have one quick long-term tip, which is when it's been like a really long time, you're like, I can't get over this person. It's been years, which obviously I've been there. You have to be real with yourself about what do you want, which Lauren kind of said. Like, do you even, like, when you write down all the good things and the bad things about that person, it's like, does that person even really make sense for you? Do you really like all these things?
Did they really know you?
And did they really know you? Did you really know them? It's like, is it really, just get real with yourself? Because usually for me, it helps be like, okay, this person is actually not what I made them up to be in my mind. And I think that I want something else. And I think that I'm okay without them. And I can find something better. Like, just telling yourself that until you believe it, I can find something better for me. Not better than him because he's bad. Whatever. Everyone's a great person to someone. So you don't have to tell yourself they're a bad person. Literally just say, I can find something better than that for me, and get that in your head. It will really help you feel better about yourself and move on.
I'm terrible at moving on. Everyone knows it. It's just
you
a
had
thing.
that song. I'm
gotta
no good at moving
Yes,
on.
it's a great one. I gotta put that out one day.
Yeah.
I will. Look, the thing is, I just don't like people leave. You can reject me all you want, but do not leave my life. That's what I've realized about myself.
Cool.
But what I've learned through my experiences is that you have to A, stop lying to yourself, and B, stop judging yourself. That's my only tips. Do not lie to yourself. If you're sad, be sad. Don't tell yourself that you're fine.
So
Don't tell
happy.
yourself you didn't care. Don't tell yourself just because you want to look better to other people because you're embarrassed that this thing went wrong. Like, things go wrong all the time. Love is not, well, this is not love. Relationships,
Could be love.
yeah, okay.
What
Relationships
the heck?
are just, they're, what is it? Love is a
Hard.
battlefield, you know? Stop
We are
judging
young.
yourself. Yes.
We are
the
young.
hardest
Heartache
Stop
goes
judging
hand.
yourself.
Hard.
Stop lying. Stop talking to them. Move on.
My main tip would be, well, I have one quick one, which is tell the story as many times over as you
Oh,
can. So, like, for me, that usually starts with
I
writing.
did that.
And then, literally, your friends will probably get sick of hearing it, honestly. And I've always felt bad
But
for
there's
telling.
so many
But
people.
if you say, hey, I know it might be kind of annoying, but I really need to talk about this. Can I just, like, vent to you? And just tell them the story as many times as you can. Every time you say it, it'll get a little bit lighter. I promise you.
Clear.
And writing it down and write it from different perspectives too. Like, I don't know. That's what I've done. Another thing that this is like the most, I've only done this for some of my most painful breakups. I literally got a new journal and I wrote letters to them almost every day. Like, because you want to talk to them so badly. And in your delusional mind, you think, maybe one day we'll get back together. Maybe this isn't really the end. So you write all these letters and do not give them to them. Throw them away when you can. But it helps you just get out all the things you wish you could tell them because you're used
That's
to talking
good.
to them day in and day out. And then suddenly they're not there. So instead of texting them, which is not going to make you feel better, do not do that. You need to cut it off clean. Just write them letters. And then if you really are meant to be, which you're probably not, in a couple years, you can give them the letter. There was one boy that I was obsessed with. And I thought, like, oh, I've never felt anything with anyone. We're meant to be. And I wrote, stop.
There's someone that
And-
Catherine was absolutely wrong for, and I always joke that she hasn't moved on, but she definitely has.
Yeah, I was,
Anyway.
wow. Anyway, different person. I told myself I was going to be with him, but I wrote him a letter and I said, if I still feel the same way in a year, then I will give him this letter. And I put it under my bed. And I did still feel the same way in a year. But in a year, I had gained the clarity to say, I had gleaned the clarity to say, yes, I do feel this way, but it's not the truth.
Love
so
that.
just give yourself some time and delay.
That was good.
She had a gentle frying pan of truth with herself. She patted herself on the back.
I
with
pat
the
myself with the
pan of
frying
truth.
pan. So yeah, just gotta get it because it's easy to be delusional. You gotta get back into reality.
Mute, mute, mute.
Amen.
Oh, I want to add that muting includes deleting pictures, deleting texts,
Don't
deleting
look at 'em.
stuff that they gave you. It just
Oh,
you
I
have to
don't
get
do
that out
that.
of your life. What?
I just mute them.
You don't delete pictures?
No,
I don't
something
think
What?
I
I
want to
delete all the
reminisce.
pictures,
I
but-
never have
deleted them.
ever wanted to reminisce on my past relationships in my
Oh,
current state.
I do.
Okay. Anyway.
Entree.
I was gonna say interesting at the same
Entree.
time. Okay, that was very interesting. So, guys,
That was lit.
that's our breakup stuff. We have a lot more, but can't talk for 5 hours. So if you want more of that,
We could
let
talk
us
for
know
5
and
hours.
We could do something else with it. There's a lot there. All right. Do you know what time it is?
Oh, my
Time
favorite
for
time.
Sister Spotlight, where we have Lauren's Take, Your World with Christina, Sappy Thoughts with Kath, Amy's Current Crisis, Exposing Lisa's Past, and Denny's Love Hate List. Who's the Sister Spotlight of today? Ding! Lisa!
Hey, my fave.
Yay!
Okay,
I wanted to prepare more than one story for this.
Tell them what this
but
is, first of all.
I can only think of one. One general topic. This is called Exposing Lisa's Past. As I said last time, you better go watch the last one. It was pretty good.
It was.
I always felt very normal, whatever that means. not in a boring way, but I just always thought
in a
that
unique way.
everything that I do
Mentally
is
sane.
is cool. It's not weird.
What?
You know what I mean? Like, you do something and you're just like, oh, I need
Can't
to do
relate.
this, so you just do it. You're not like, this is probably the weirdest thing ever. But later, you're like, you may look back if you're me and be like, oh, wow, that was absolutely bizarre. So, I mean,
Or when you tell
okay,
other people.
some people will relate to this. It's not so out of the box, but I still thought it was really funny. Let's see, my age range was probably
12? 10?
9 years old until
I'm scared.
12, 9 to 12. This was this phase of my life where I was boy crazy. But
Only
So you
then?
stopped after the
but
age
it
of
was
12?
no.
No
I'm not
shit.
done. This is Lisa's corner.
What? I'm
It-
clarifying
This
for
is
the
not
fans.
Catherine's corner. I was very boy crazy, but I didn't want anyone to know. I was just so scared.
Relatable.
Like, I didn't want to interact with them. I didn't want to.
'Cause
I
you
didn't
were
want them to
9.
know because I was 9 years old or I was 12 years old. So I would hide it by being very violent. And this is not good. And I think I recognize and I want to address this is very bad. And please don't do this, especially if you're a little girl. There was 2 boys in particular that were my victims. One of them was a few years older than me too, so I was like, "Oh my god, she's so hot." But like, I'm 12, can't let him know. So, and I was like good friends with this boy. It was me and him and our our friend who was a girl, and the 3 of us were just the 3 blind rats, and we would hang out all the time. And they kind of knew. I don't know. Sometimes they would ask me, "Do you have a crush on him?" And I'd be like, "No." So I would
say?
like be in the car and he would say something that is completely normal, like does not elicit this. And I would start like hitting him with my sandal, like, "Shut up! What's your name?" And I don't want to say his name. And I'm like, "Shut up!" Ah! And he's like, "Ah!" Or I would just walk up to him and like punch him like on the arm. Or I'd be like, "Flex your stomach," and then like punch him in the stomach. He's like, "Ow!" And it got to the point where I would be talking to him and I would like raise my hand but not to hit him and he would like flinch because like he thought I hit him. Like, that's not good.
You were beating him up.
I know. No,
I don't think
now,
you hurt him.
He was like twice my size. Like he was like tall and like bigger. This was before his skinny phase, you know, like he was a big guy. So it didn't like I don't think it really messed him up physically, but psychologically it probably did.
But you hit him with the shoe.
I hit him with my shoe.
Because
like
you
my
liked
flip-
him.
Not like a boot, like a flip flop. Then, okay, I was 9 years old.
Steel-toed boot.
No. It wasn't that, it wasn't that kind of thing. I was 9. I had the role of Jasmine in the play Aladdin. And I loved the boy who was Aladdin. I loved him. Like, I used to daydream about him.
That
His
is
name
so
was Jordan. I was
weird.
like, "Oh, Jordan."
Oh
I was 9.
my god!
I was 9 and he could never know. So, there was scenes that I dreamed of where I would get to hold his hands as a 9-year-old and look into his eyes. "Oh, Aladdin, blah, blah." But and I remember I had a crush on this guy, but I would take his hands
Please, oh
with
no.
my nails
I
and
can't handle.
dig my nails in, and I would be saying like, "Oh, Aladdin, blah blah blah," and I would keep,
during the play.
during the play
On
backstage
stage.
every night.
So
And
no one would
listen,
know.
we did like 8 shows, and
Oh
on
my
like the
gosh.
5th show, and then there was another boy. I didn't really have a crush on him, but I would always kick him in the head when he was laying on the floor.
Oh my
I was supposed to
God.
like tap him with my foot to see if he was alive in the play, so I would kick him in the head because I didn't like him.
Oh
I
my
just had a problem.
gosh.
One time, his mom came up to me after one of the shows
The
and was
kick
like,
one or the nail
"The
one?
crush, Aladdin." Aladdin's mom came up to me and was like,
and you're friends with his sister.
"Yes, I was best friends with his sister." She's like, "Lisa," she was so nice. "Jordan's been telling me that you have been pinching his hands on stage. I think there was other things I did too, but she's like, I don't think that's really helping. I don't think it's very nice. I don't know what she said, but just like, could you please not do that? Because I don't think it really helps the performance, and it does hurt. And I was like, and I remember being like so mad that he told his mom, and I was like, oh, okay, of course. In my head, I was like, you wimp, you weak little wimp. And I was like, you told your mommy. And then I was like, wow, I love him. And then I would do it again. I would keep pinching him. I didn't stop. But to her face, I remember being like, this 9-year-old, like, oh, I'm so sorry, of course. It was so, oh my gosh, Amy's just going. So that is, and again, I was like, oh, everyone's mean to their crush when they like them, but like, I thought it was normal.
Not everyone is physically abusive.
You have the opportunity to hold your crush's hand as a child on stage and stare into their eyes. Like, even if you're mean to them, like, oh, you're not supposed to be mean to them right now. Not for me. I couldn't let him know. So
you had
that's
to
just one story
call
out of
him.
the vault, and I'll be back next time, maybe, if you're lucky, with some more.
You are wild.
I feel like you should say something about you don't condone physical
I already
violence.
did.
She already did. It's
Okay.
clear.
I don't
She said
condone
not
it,
to do
okay,
that.
guys? I really don't. It
She
was
was
very
a kid,
bad.
but
She
it was
said,
wrong.
Please don't do that.
I was a small child, but it was still wrong.
It was very wrong.
And that is not
Rip.
how you get to a man's heart.
No, that is awful.
Are you sure?
Well, I may be stuck in there forever, but in a bad way. Like, oh gosh, is that girl? Oh, and another boy told me when I was like 6 or 8 or whatever, he's like, you punched me and my heart stopped beating.
Oh, you punched.
So I
You did punch.
I just had a big problem.
You just wanted to be
I know,
tough.
I was
I'm
there.
like, look, I'm glad that I left a mark on you because I had a crush on him too, but I really don't remember punching him. I don't remember punching him.
Also, I just want to say for your guys' mental image that Lisa was like 90 pounds or like 80
I was
pounds,
a
like
small.
a tiny, skinny stick of a child.
She was like
I
60
wasn't
pounds.
Hitting
wait,
people.
I wasn't short. I was like 90th percentile
like
for a
really
while.
But she was
but
tall, but she was like,
I was skinny and I was small and I was quiet, but I was
She
a
was
I was a
fighter.
force to be reckoned.
Okay.
I was a sneaky little devil.
I love this segment. Okay, thank
too.
you.
I'm scared.
Thank you,
for
Lisa.
sharing. You're
I'm
really
very
brave.
glad we got to
Thank
experience
you for
that.
sharing your story.
feel
You're so
brave.
Whew. That took a lot out of me. I feel like I can't focus anymore because I laughed too much on that.
That was a good one.
Oh my gosh.
Guys.
Okay, well, if you want to see the next episode, you have to be on Patreon because every other episode is Patreon only.
Patronage.
And every episode is juicy, so you don't want to miss that. And there's so much other stuff on Patreon. It's an amazing community. We have just so many cool things in there, like things that help with your life, things that entertain you, lots of different things. And it's an awesome community. Lots of great people to talk to who really care. So I would suggest that you go
Same.
become a patron. I was
Listen,
gonna say
I've worn-
subscribe.
I've worn some of my best outfits in the Patreon only episodes, so you better go look at them and clap for me. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you guys. Thank you guys
Okay,
so
thank
much.
Thank you for watching.
And we will see you not in the next
Thanks,
episode
readers.
unless you're on Patreon, but we'll see you in the next episode on YouTube. Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Cimorelli Podcast. Follow Cimorelli on Spotify and subscribe on YouTube. You can also find Cimorelli on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat.